Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nizamuddin bin Mawazir and I'm from AM2281E from Grade 7. Today, my group represents about the impact of effective management on the overall success of an organization as well as how the organization operates in terms of management, stress and issue. The company we have choose for our research is Petronas. Before we go further, I will introduce my group member. The first one, we have Nur Kamalia binti Muzayyin. Next, we have Fazira binti Zulkifli. Next, we have Intan Norinla Akmal binti Baharin. And the last one person is our group member is Nur Azrina binti Abdugani. In this presentation, we have divided into three subtopics, which is the first one, introduction about the company, which is Petronas. The second one is the content. We have 4 content that we explain later. The last one is conclusion. Alright, I will continue about the company background. Petronas is the one of the company that every single Malaysian knows. We can say that all Malaysians have visited Petronas petrol pump in their life. It is because Petronas is the one of the giant company in Malaysia. So, let's learn about the history of Petronas. Petroleum Nasional Berhad, or better known as Petronas, is a Malaysian multinational oil gas company. Established on 17 August 1974 and fully owned by the Malaysian government. The idea behind Petronas establishment is that since the petroleum activities in Sabah and Sarawak expanded markedly around 1960s. During that year, Shell and Esso initially was a major player of oil and gas company. Year after year, early 1970s, Malaysian government has launched a new economic policy, which is NEP. This NEP encourages more Malaysia to control the modern sector and provide greater opportunities in the economic sector, especially for the Bumi Putra. As we know, before the independence and after the independence of Malaysia, the economy was dominated by Chinese, Indians and Europeans. As consequences of the issue, Petronas were established to help improve Bumi Putra economy. As we can see, organizer and manager of Petronas were primarily Malay and its first head was Tengku Razaleddin Hamzah. Next, I will continue about the core business of Petronas. Petronas is Malaysia's leading international petroleum corporation, a fully integrated oil and gas corporation with wide network of operations around the world. According to the official website of Petronas, there were a few core business activities for this company, which are exploration and production, downstream, gas and power, logistics and maritime, technology and engineering. Alright, I will continue about the management team in Petronas. Before that, do you know what is the definition of management teams? A management team is a group of high-level associates hired by a business owner to take on essential responsibility to lead the business. These individuals make up the highest level of management within a company or business, each specialized in a different area of managing a business, and each of the individual has their own responsibility. Petronas have 9 executive leadership teams that were responsible to running the company. For the executive leadership team, we will explain in the next slide. The last part from me is organization structure. Do you know the definition of organization structure? According to the Mintersburg 1972, organization structure is the framework of the relation on jobs, system, operating process, people and groups that make an effort to achieve the goals. As in Petronas, this company have their own organization structure. The latest update from Petronas official website, YM Datuk Tengku Muhammad Taufik Tengku Mat Jaja Aziz is the President and Group Chief Executive Officer. Next, Mr. Adif Zulkifli is the Executive President and CEO Upstream. Next, Datuk Sazali Hamzah is the Executive Vice President and CEO Downstream. Next, Mr. Adnan Zainal Abidin is the Executive Vice President and CEO of Gas and New Energy. Next, Mrs. Liza Mustafa is the Executive Vice President and Group of Chief Financial Officer. Next, we have Mr. Mazim Ismail is the Senior Vice President Corporate Strategy. Next, we have Mr. Razman Hashim is the Senior Vice President Group Legal and Group General Counsel. The second last one, we have the Mr. Bacho Pailong is the Senior Vice President Project Delivery and Technology. And the last one, we have Mrs. Farihana Hanafia as a Senior Vice President Group Human Resource and Management. Alright, I have finished my part. I will pass to the next group member to explain the content.
Thank you very much, Nizam, for the wonderful introduction. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Nazrina. Without further ado, let me explain to you what are Petronas' biggest challenge during this current era. After several research, I can say that there are three biggest challenges of this company during this pandemic era. So let's take a look what were that. So the first biggest challenges that Petronas face in this current era is stricter enforcement of SOP on all employees. All contractors must follow specified guidelines such as conducting COVID-19 testing before entering any asset, facilities or premises authorized by the Ministry of Health Malaysia according to Malaysia COVID-19 National Rehabilitation Plan (NRP) and MITI Directive of 15 August 2021. It is important to remember that all contractors working on Petronas Malaysia properties must follow by all directive instructions, standard operating procedures SOP and regulation issued by the state and local government. Errors in health and safety are unacceptable. Petronas wants all contractors assistant in ensuring the safety of all activity and operation, including subcontractors. Until further notice, they should take all essential safeguards. Petronas has the capacity to create and maintain any necessary SOP prior to during Petronas action to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Next, the second point is volatile oil price. In the words of Tengku Muhammad Taufik, Petronas Group President and CEO, the drop or depreciation was caused by unpredictable oil price, which harmed the company's financial sheet in 2020 and coincided with Malaysian weak economic performance in 2015. In the application of accounting rules, oil and gas companies claim that the oil price between $70 to $80 equivalent to $1 equal to 4 ringgit Malaysian and 3 cents need to be reorganized. At a time when oil futures were trading at $60 to $70 a barrel, Tengku Muhammad Taufik said the current oil price had altered forecast and resulted in significant devaluation. Lastly, the disruption to business activities. COVID-19 principal demand shock resulted in lower oil price, which corresponded with tighter public health restriction, travel and economic activities control. Despite OPEC fears that a return of COVID-19 infection may jeopardize the recovery. The third quarter sanctification relief boosted global demand. As we observed, transportation accounts for 57% of total demand. This is because many individuals work from home and do not travel for business or pleasure. Oversupply and low demand from COVID-19 epidemic, which almost halted commercial activity in several nations, drove price to plummet this year, leaving the oil and gas industry beset by uncertainty and displeasure. As a consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic, oil and gas company asset prices have fallen significantly this year. To sum up, there are three main points. First, stricter enforcement of SOP on all employees. Second, volatile oil price. And third, the disruption to business activities. So for the ethical issue that organization face, I will leave to Nilam.
Thank you so much, Nazrina. Hello, Assalamualaikum and hi. I am Intan Nur Nilam Akmal. We'll be explaining about the ethical issues that faced by the organization, which is Petronas. Alright, ethic in business can help the organization to achieve the target efficiently. But before that, I will clarify what is ethics. So according to Prachijuneja, an author from Management Study Guide stated that organizational ethic refers to a set of rules and principles that will determine how the employee should act in the workplace. So, in Petronas, there's an ethical code, namely COBE, which is known as Code of Conduct and Business Ethics. This code underlines the commitment to the highest standard of ethics and integrity in the conduct of group business and activities, which applies to all levels in the organization, with the purpose to control the organization from committing any ethical offenses in the workplace. Now, I will spell out the ethical issues faced by the organization. First is misconduct. Misconduct can be defined as an improper behavior or an act or any conduct in relation to duties of work that is inconsistent with the timely performance of Petronas obligations. It was stated of Petronas business ethic that was known as discipline, disciplinary process, and sanctions. Who may act this misconduct must face disciplinary action according to law's limitation. First act of misconduct is fraud. According to Legal Aid at Workplace, fraud can be defined when an employee misrepresents something about the business of the company. For example, they make false representation about a job stability, compensation, future incentive or promotion, health risk, or other elements of work. There's an issue of alleged illegal scheme to swindle the company that involving Petronas and its subsidiary, which is Dilem Permira Sdn Bhd, with Petronas Carigali Sdn Bhd, including the executive and subcontractors. On 25 November of 2020, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission received the full report regarding illegal scheme and believe it is part of larger scheme from those organizations. Through the investigation, there are 4 workers that has been implicated in fraud investigation involving Petronas Carigali Oil Services and Maintenance Contract. Not only that, Petronas received adverse complaint about Dilem Permira that suspected unethical and not integrity to previous work with Petronas Carigali Sdn Bhd. Thus, Petronas decided to suspend Dilem Permira's license for all standardized work and equipment categories in the future to protect Petronas' dignity. Second types of misconduct is dishonesty can open to suspicion. Under the Petronas Code of Business Ethics, it has stated that being dishonest or conducting oneself in a way that makes oneself vulnerable to accusation of dishonesty. Employees who are suspected of dishonesty must be placed on paid leave and the case will be reported to disciplinary hearing. There's a case about being dishonest by one of the Petronas employees that taking advantage during COVID-19 circumstance. The case involved a contractor at the Pengerang Integrated Petroleum Complex near Kota Tinggi who has been detained by the authorities over false allegation over the loss of several family members due to COVID-19 to gain sympathy and also allegedly collecting money after asking for public compassion. His action actually has breached his duty and discipline for being dishonest. Thus, Kota Tinggi District Police confirmed that the case will be investigated under Section 420 of the Penal Code for cheating and also putting shame on Petronas. Next ethical issue is under breach of occupational health, safety and environment. Occupational health, safety and environment of Petronas Conduct of Business Ethics stated that it is committed to provide a safe and healthy workplace for all employees that working at its facilities and minimizing the impacts of its operation on the environment. Failure to provide an adequate health and safety environment due to irresponsibility can lead to risk the worker's life and health. Irresponsible to workers' health is the act of breaching the conduct of occupational health, safety and environment, as it not only may act irresponsibly to harm oneself but it can also harm other employees. There's an issue relating to COVID-19 where 24 crew and offshore workers have been infected with positive COVID-19 after they boarded a vessel in Bintulu, Sabah. The Bintulu Member of Parliament, Tiong King Sing, alleged that the Great One Manjun 7, which is a Malaysia flag anchor, had failed to carry out the compulsory 14 days of quarantine as instructed by the Health Department. But during the investigation, Petronas company did not tell the Health Department about the whole truth regarding the infected workers, as this behavior was considered as irresponsible because it may infect more workers and lead to a new outbreak of COVID-19 cases. That's all from me. I will pass to Camilla. Thank you.
Next, I will discuss about the efforts taken by leadership in the organization to deal with challenges that arise. The first one is combating the fluctuations in oil prices. The decision by the US Federal Reserve to end its stimulus programs may put downward pressure on oil prices.
West Texas Intermediate WTI futures have fallen to negative levels due to a price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia. Following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the year of 2020 was a watershed moment for the oil and gas industry. Tengku Muhammad Taufik, CEO of Petronas, believes the sector would be driven by expectations rather than fundamentals. To maintain a relatively excellent financial position, Petronas have prioritized cost-cutting activities while simultaneously pursuing multiple indicators of operational and commercial excellence. During the commencement of the COVID-19 immunization program, the members of the Organizations of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, engaged in regulatory measures. The next effort to overcome the challenges is operate by leveraging digitalization and technology. The most recent COVID-19 pandemic shows how individuals benefited from technology at the time can be instructive in the current scenario. Pandemics have a huge impact on our lives, both socially and economically. Petronas is an example of how legacy firms may transform with solid execution and a focus on digitalization. Petronas unveiled the MyPET, which is my personal e-tracker software, and the Green Bubble GB framework. The Pengerang Integrated Complex PIC in Johor, Malaysia is a world-class integrated refinery and petrochemical complex with the goals of providing a safe and healthy workplace at PIC, preventing the spread of the pandemic among the employees and the contractors, and ensuring the smooth and timely completion of major constructions projects at PIC. As a result, PIC will become a COVID-19 free green zone. Petronas will therefore continue to rely on cutting-edge technologies such as Saddle, a smartphone app that enhances the Petronas customer experience. Using Saddle's Deliver to Me service, users can purchase items from participating Kedai Mesra stores and have them delivered to them by a Petronas employee. Last but not least is Petronas has launched its best fuel, the Petronas Primax 97 with Pro Race. The new gasoline formula includes the world's first advanced dual friction modifier, which is 25% more effective at reducing friction and providing a more responsive driving experience. The gasoline also has better deposit control, removing 99.9% of deposits from critical engine elements for smoother performance. According to Azrul Osman Rani, Primax 97 with ProRes fuel is the greatest gasoline to date. The new formula is designed to work with advanced engine technology and meet clients' high-performance driving needs. It was created with knowledge gained from 7 Formula One World Constructors Championships and a technical partnership with the Mercedes-AMG GmbH Petronas F1 team. Since its introduction, Petronas has witnessed positive sales, and they are sure that if the travel restrictions are lifted, the new fuel will provide even more volume to their gasoline category. Petronas' new innovation has caused a lot of buzz in the industry, and it's been a big hit with their customers.
Today we continue to discuss about the company's corporate social responsibility and its impact towards society. Petronas has their own corporate social responsibility arm, which is Yayasan PETRONAS. Yayasan PETRONAS has their own mission is to contribute the well-being of society and to make the long-term difference of community by increasing their quality of life and socio-economic results. Yayasan PETRONAS has their own impact to 3 things, which is education, community well-being and development, and also for environment. Petronas realized that education is the most important thing in the world. Through the education, Petronas can help to improve nation's standards of living. Sentuhan Ilmu also provide educational assistance, especially for children from B40 and M40 families. The educational assistance such as additional class, bill renovations, motivation program and also tuition subsidies. Yayasan Petronas also commit others programs such as program Kita Guru, program MRSM Budi Petronas, Mara Junior Science College MRSM in Sabah and Sarawak, also Asrama Harian Luar Bandar. And the last program is Transforming English in Terengganu, which is Tranglish. Impact to community well-being and development. This is for improving the quality of life for more Malaysians and support their economic process. And one program has set up under this impact, which is Sentuhan Harapan. Sentuhan Harapan is help community to improve their quality of life. Sentuhan Harapan has their own goal, which is to upgrade the living standards of unprivileged community and youth by creating a path to balance life and better health. Programs held under Sentuhan Harapan is so many programs, which is youth, B40 community, urban and rural, and also secondary school student, which is 14 to 16 years old students. And also there are other program held under Sentuhan Harapan, which is better health and water supply and sanitation. Under the Better Health program, there are two programs, which is Cancer Reaches, collaborate with Cancer Reaches Malaysia and Food Basket. And under the water supply and sanitation, there are also two programs, which is Water for Life, collaborate with Malaysia Nature Society MNS, and Disaster Relief partnering with Better My Kasih. Next is impact to environment. Petronas is concerned about our environment from forest to river to shore and to marine. This is for our better future and is also for our future generation. Sentuhan Alam is one of the program under the Yayasan Petronas for make sure our environment is good. The goal of Sentuhan Alam is better the environment through biodiversity, conservation and carbon neutral programs. And yet Sentuhan Alam has the desired impact, which is reduce year-on-year environmental impact. Imbak Canyon Conservation Area and Imbak Canyon Study Centre is one of Petronas' effort to keep our environment maintained and to our better future and to our future generations. Petronas is the first largest local funder of Yayasan Sabah Group in the preservation of a gazette conservation area in Sabah. This is because Petronas is concerned about our environment and our future life. So there are other programs under Sentuhan Alam, which is forest conservations, mangrove conservations and also marine conservations. Forest conservation has been set up for maintain our flora and fauna, and Imbak Canyon is the treasure trove of flora and fauna in our country. Next is mangrove conservation. Mangrove conservation has set up to seeding the love of nature, which is a replant the plant in the mangrove, and with the slogan preserving nature is preserving our nature. And the last one is marine conservation. This is has set up to love for the deep branch ocean. This is to make sure our generation we love the nature and take care of our marine from the pollutions. That's all from me. Thank you.
Alright, for the conclusion, we have known that COVID-19 pandemic has a significant impact to the Malaysian economy. All the industry around the world have faced the impact of it. Petronas have faced a lot of bigger challenges, such as strict enforcement of SOP to all employees, volatile of price, profit decrease during the pandemic, huge loss in the quarter of 2020, and the crisis of the business activity. But the Petronas have taken several initiatives to overcome the problems. Petronas have proved that its company have managed to get out from any crisis and continue to thrive and continue to make a significant contribution for the country.